we're checking out Dangerous video. A new look at the deleted scene of a new look at a deleted Godzilla X Kong battle. Sounds interesting, but first of all, November 6, 2026, Godzilla Minus Zero, the sequel to Godzilla Minus One. That poster looks a little bit like Martha. Is Martha gonna be in this film? We're gonna find out very soon, because I'm pretty sure Dangerville is gonna make a video about this as well. So yeah, does that. But let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, now let's go ahead and get into this.
Are you tired of seeing Godzilla and Kong facing off, beating the absolute heck out of each other? What's up, residents? This is Jacob, and yeah, I get it. Some of you might be completely burned out on the idea of the big monkey throwing hands with the atomic reptile. But for the rest of you, the people who love seeing these two icons clash like living natural disasters, stick around. Because you're not going to want to miss what I have to show you today here in Dangerville. Or tomorrow, or the next day. Heck, watch this video 10 times over the next year if you want to, or don't, it's whatever. But if you do want to help support the channel and support Godzilla and Kong, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a big ol' roar down in the comments. Because in this video, I got something special for you guys. Recently, never-before-seen concept art has been released by artist Daniel Demler, created for a version of the MonsterVerse we never got to see. And what does this version include? A full-on Godzilla vs. Kong battle set in a moody, eerie, rain-soaked cityscape that looks absolutely insane and badass. We're going to take a look at these concepts, break down what they show, talk about how I feel about them, and whether or not they actually make sense within the MonsterVerse right now. And by the end, maybe we can answer the question, could these concepts possibly be teasing something that's still coming? Because let's not forget, there are multiple MonsterVerse projects.
Multiple MonsterVerse projects. Could this art be a tease for Supernova? Or could it be a tease for Monarch Legacy Marshals Season 2, which comes out next month on Apple TV?
Currently in development. These concepts were developed back in 2021 actually, during the lead up to Godzilla vs. Kong. And were originally intended for Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 1, believe it or not. Yep, the creative team over at Apple TV actually toyed with the idea of giving their show its own Godzilla vs. Kong face-off. And based on the timeline of the MonsterVerse, this battle would have taken place before the events of Godzilla vs. Kong. According to the artist Daniel Demler, these pieces were created as experiments and pitch material. Visual ideas meant to explore tones.
Basically, we could be getting this for Supernova for season 2 of Monarch Legacy Marshals. Could that happen? Could we actually see another round of Godzilla vs. Kong?
Scale and possible directions for the MonsterVerse going forward. What's really interesting here is that these concepts potentially suggest something pretty huge. They suggest that the final battle that we saw in Godzilla vs. Kong might not have been the first time these two ever encountered one another. And that alone changes how you look at their rivalry, I think. Now, we don't know how aware the artist was of the final Godzilla vs. Kong script while working on these concepts, but whether intentional or not, these images absolutely feel like some sort of prior encounter between Godzilla and Kong. Like this is representing the first time they ever came face to face. Regardless of how close they actually came to being used in the final production, one thing is undeniable, these concepts are incredible. They showcase exactly what many fans have been asking for, a darker, more atmospheric, more grounded in reality MonsterVerse. Something that makes these giant animal-like creatures feel real again. So everyone, let's break them down. In these concepts, we see Godzilla and Kong staring one another down in a rain-drenched city. It has a similar vibe to a couple scenes from Godzilla 2014, but this time we actually get to see the monster fight. Ain't that cool? But as these concept images
of the martial arts, like go back to 2014, and not like that. It was like too damn dark and you barely see shit. But like I hate to say it, but a Saxino tone like that. That would be pretty dope.
just start, there's no chaos, no explosions yet, just tension. If you look at Kong, his posture tells the whole story. He looks hesitant, almost nervous, like he knows this fight could go very badly for him. Godzilla, on the other hand, he doesn't look super angry and furious, he looks more confused than anything, like he's staring at Kong thinking, wait, are you the jerk who cut me off in traffic earlier? It also gives off massive The Big One from Jurassic Park vibes, with the raptor, that slow, curious, terrifying stare. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You can't unsee it now, can you? But as always, Kong does what Kong does best. He finds his courage, he clenches his fists, squares his shoulders, and prepares to throw hands with a literal atomic god. Godzilla then roars, and the battle begins. Now, outside of just looking really cool, one of the most impressive aspects of these concepts are how they sell scale, a concern that's been a hot topic in the Monsterverse lately. In one piece, we see Kong landing an absolutely devastating haymaker. And we see this from the perspective of a normal, real-world helicopter, not a sci-fi dragonfly, not a futuristic monarch vehicle, just a boring old helicopter, and that choice matters because it just grounds the scene. It's relatable, we can all picture how this would probably look in real life without any of the sci-fi CGI fantasy stuff. Overall, I think it just reminds us just how small and useless us humans are in these moments. Then there's this angle. A ground level shot where it feels like you are about to be crushed beneath their feet. You're looking up, barely escaping death, watching two living gods collide above you.
It was like he took out half the building to punch Godzilla with, which is something we wish we'd seen.
And if you really open your mind and have some fun with your imagination here, you can almost feel it. The wind rushing past as Kong swings his mighty punch. The shockwave rippling through the street as the mighty blow lands. To me, this is Titan scale done absolutely right. Now, unfortunately, this particular fight never made it into the Monsterverse, at least not on screen. But the big question is, could it still mean something? Ancient YouTube theorists would say yes. Season 2 of Monarch Legacy of Monsters probably isn't going to give us a rain-soaked city showdown between Godzilla and Kong, although if they did, I probably wouldn't complain. It looks pretty badass if you look at these concepts.
And I really hope they do, but I don't think it will happen. I think we're going to get Godzilla and Kong for the first time. This version of Kong for the first time in Skull Island. He's going to wall him, telling him stay, and this big goes on and fights King Ghidorah. I think that's also going to be the point too, because he hears Ghidorah's calling, and he's like, I got to check on this one that's on the island first. But yeah, basically that's all that.
That being said, a confrontation on Skull Island is still very much possible. I'll link Al's video if you want to go full theory mode on that idea. However, these specific concepts do introduce a bit of a lore issue in the Monsterverse. Getting Kong off Skull Island before Godzilla vs. Kong without completely bending the rules is tricky. But let's be honest, this franchise has bent lore time and time again before, whether that's a good thing or not. Probably more of the latter.
Season 2 explains more on how they built that cage during the storm for Kong, or basically everything that we need to know that wasn't explained enough in Godzilla vs. Kong. Like, that's all I want.
At the end of the day, these concepts may simply remain what they are. Amazing pieces of art that never made it past the pitch stage. but the timing of their release is interesting. Daniel, the artist, sharing these right now just as the Monsterverse is clearly ramping up marketing again, and with Season 2 of Monarch right around the corner, that's a little bit suspicious. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe it's a quiet tease. Maybe we're heading back towards a darker, more grounded Monsterverse tone. Maybe we'll just see a flashback battle referenced in a future project, or maybe Legendary is just reminding us of the potential still left on the table for this universe. Whatever the case, something's a-brewing, I think. So now I want to hear from you guys, everybody watching the video right now. What do you think these Godzilla fighting Kong concept reveals mean? Do you think they're teasing something coming down the line? Or do they just look really badass and the artist thought it was a good time to finally share them? Speaking of him, huge shout out once again to Daniel Demler for sharing these concept art. Your work in general and specifically for the Monsterverse is phenomenal, dude. Seriously, please keep it cooking. Residents, if you enjoy the video and think I earned it, leave it a like. Subscribe for more Monsterverse content, and as always, this has been Jacob. I'll see you in the next one.
Alright, that is the end. And honestly, what y'all think? What do y'all think could this be? I think it could be something from Monarch Monster Season 2. I ain't gonna cap. But yeah, make sure to subscribe button, hit that like button. Once again, links in the description for the original content, and go subscribe to the video as well. And I'll see you guys next time.